Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at my top 10 fragrances for autumn 2019. Before we get into that, remember I am going to be very soon releasing my fragrance GRAVITAS Pour Homme by Norton and Wilson, made by famous perfumer John Stephen. Very excited about that. You can see the fragrance notes on the screen now and a picture of the bottle. And if you are interested in smelling this one, more importantly than how it smells is how it's going to make you feel. Well, it's going to make you feel something like these guys.
This mode is corrective. Nothing can stand in his way. So you better start to play. Because Mr. Smelly is now on his way.
Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at my top 10 fragrances for autumn 2019. Before we do that, don't forget, if you're interested to join up to the Smelly Army Private Members Club over on Patreon, there's a link in the description. It's just a $2 a month fee to do that, and you can see everything that's already in there, loads of old videos, an extra video every week, plus usually more than that, actually usually maybe a little bonus video as well. And actually this week the extra video is going to be a continuation about 5 or 6 extra honourable mentions on top of this list. So click in the link in the description if you're interested. Moving on then, let's get into the actual list. So my top 10 for YouTube this year for autumn. Of course, autumn time, a great season for fragrances because you can wear some of the more rich, pungent kind of stuff that might not be appropriate so much in spring and summer. The seasonality of fragrances to me is not a big thing. You can wear some of these fragrances all year round really, but these have a little bit of an autumnal feel, I think. Very much a personal list, not necessarily the best 10 fragrances for autumn, but the ones I'm looking forward to wearing most. So we're going to have a little bit less freshness than some of my summer and spring lists, a little bit more woodiness, sweetness, smokiness, incense. These kind of notes become more appropriate, and therefore I think it's a really fun season. Not that much difference from me between what you would recommend for autumn and winter, but only that probably my favourites will have evolved by the time we get round to my winter list. So let's get stuck into it. Honourable mention then, shameless self-promotion, GRAVITAS Pour Homme, my upcoming fragrance release that you've seen the trailer for in the intro, will be here really soon, and that would be a great one. Superb fougere fragrance, but with a rich and spiciness about it, so that I think it would be a great choice. Look out for that Kickstarter campaign starting extremely soon. Moving into the list proper then, at number 10, and by the way, no particular order, they're all equal, but I'm going to say number 10 for the first one, but they're all pretty close to being 10 out of 10 fragrances. So I'm going to get this one out the way quick. It's my old favourite, Bois de Portugal from Creed, a fantastic combination of bergamot, I think vetiver, sandalwood and lavender, and Creed's famous ambergris. A really, really fantastic kind of green, woody, dusty, slightly old school, but really beautiful, kind of a spiciness about it as well. Very masculine, a bit like an upscale version of Chanel's Pour Monsieur. To me, that's the way I always think of it. And very, very rich, masculine, classy. Famously, Frank Sinatra's signature scent, apparently, first created in 1987. It is superb. I'm going to do a sort of either or for this position, number 10, because I've just got this amazing new version of it, or clone if you like. The company don't call it that. It's called LISBOA, and it's from Pocket Scents, a UK based company, and this stuff is, I've been blown away by this because I thought maybe Bois de Portugal is so high quality, the ingredients, maybe it's a hard one to clone. There is a Dua version as well, which is pretty good. But this one that I've just got recently, Lisboa by Pocket Scent, I am amazed by this. It's so close. In the opening, there's a little bit of a difference, but as the dry down comes, it's absolutely incredible. And the price on this one, I think it's called their Ne Plus Ultra range, and they are just £34.99 for the 50ml. And for the quality of juice, I think that is absolutely stunning. I will link them actually in the description because it's a small company and they do deserve, I think, a bit more attention. There's a couple of others from them. They were sent free by the company, I should tell you. Their Blood Axe, their version of Viking, is also really top-notch in the same range. And I have also been incredibly impressed by Scottish Mountain Water. Gotta love the name, of course. That's Creed Silver Mountain Water, and it really captures that blackcurrant note in there and the kind of tea thing along with the lovely citrusness. So those are 3 of my favourites from them. Let's move on though to number 9 in my autumn list. So at number 9, it's I think we can class it as a designer fragrance. This is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme or Extreme, a really, really beautiful semi-gourmandish type of fragrance. Some of the notes in this one include neroli, saffron, nutmeg, cardamom, amber, sandalwood, vanilla, and it's got this accord in there which is supposed to be reminiscent of kulfi, an Indian dessert. So you get this really nice creamy sweetness about this fragrance, a spiciness, and a very kind of saucy, sexy, kind of unisex kind of smell actually. This one pretty unisex, but I think on a man, if you like your more modern, metrosexual, sexy fragrances, some people have called it like a better quality version, more sophisticated version of Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Tom Ford, this is of Spice Bomb, I mean, by Victor and Rolf. Victor and Rolf. And I agree, it's a really, I don't like Spice Bomb that much, but I love this. Good performance on this, by the way. Bois de Portugal, very good performance amongst Creeds. And so far, the Lisboa also similarly good in performance. So that's number 9. Moving on to number 8. Now, this is interesting. A lot of people say, oh, these reviewers who do Dua fragrances, they never put them in their top 10 list for the season because they don't really like them. Well, I often do wear Dua fragrances. I do really like them, and I'm including one in this list because it is Casino Royale. This is their version of Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540. It's bang on, and it's absolute beast mode and beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It's not the cheapest clone in the world, but it is so good that I'm really looking forward to wearing this. I love Baccarat Rouge 540, saffron, amber, kind of mixture of candy floss and mint. I always think with this one, kind of floral as well. The lovely ambergris, kind of an undertone of freshness, but this sweet, fluffy, airy, beautiful stuff going on in the smell of Baccarat Rouge 540, which I don't own for the simple reason that I think Casino Royale just knocks it out of the park. So close to the original fragrance, maybe even better performance, like an extract de parfum strength. So Casino Royale Dua is my number 8 pick. Okay, number 7, something completely different. Just got this in the post actually. It's been in pretty much all of my autumn lists, I think. Egoist from Chanel, but I've picked up a vintage version here. Haven't really analysed the difference in the vintage and my less vintage bottle, but anyway, wonderful. One of the best designer men's sandalwood fragrances ever, and a masterpiece from the house of Chanel. You can tell it's vintage if Eau de Toilette is written above the word Chanel. It's underneath it these days, and similarly on the bottle we'll see the same thing. And I picked this up for a steal on eBay. Wonderful, creamy, spicy, masculine, classy. There's a bit of sweetness. It's not a gourmand though. It's very woody. It's a beautiful, smooth sandalwood note. There's a bit of mandarin in the opening, maybe cinnamon. There's a spice, I think ambrette seed in there. Wonderfully balanced composition. Really, really classy. Sweet, spicy, woody, masculine. Doesn't really smell old school. It's from 1990, the original release. But to me, it smells like a niche fragrance of any time. A timeless, amazing classic with very good performance. Let me know if you are a fan of Egoist. Maybe, I think, probably, arguably my favourite Chanel fragrance ever, and totally great. Of course, these all so far great for the autumn because they're spicy, they're warming, they're woody, and that's what you sometimes want in the season of autumn as things get a little bit more chilly. So I think that was number 7. Number 6 then, this is one of the finds of the year, this house overall. An amazing niche house that has emerged recently, and this is the house of BORTNIKOFF, and the fragrance that I would say perhaps is my favourite for this upcoming autumn is ZEMFIRA, part of their recently released 4th collection. I was sent this bottle for free, which is incredibly kind, but the ingredients are exceedingly high quality. It's really opened my world to a new, I would say, a new genre or a new area of perfume. Uber niche, I think I would call it. These are using incredibly high quality ingredients, I think, and you can smell that. This one has notes including oud, rose, sandalwood, I think it's rose de mai. Don't quote me, but I think it might be like the real rose essence, and I know for a fact it's real oud and a real sandalwood being used in here. Ingredients that are very hard to find and very expensive if you can find them. It's an extract de parfum. Oud and rose, of course, is a classic combination, and some people sort of say, oh well, it's been done to death, everyone does that, but this, I really can tell something different. I'm not normally a huge oud fan, but I don't think I've experienced enough of the real oud, and that's what Dmitry Bortnikoff over at Bortnikoff Fragrances puts into these. They are so complex, they sit on your skin, they last for hours. If you smell your clothes the next day, they're still there, and they really go in different directions. I think this one's also got a bit of pink pepper and bergamot, so there's a kind of freshness in the beginning, beautiful woody notes, smoothness, and just this otherworldly quality that's a bit different to, and even if you've smelled a lot of, you know, normal department store niche stuff, this is an eye-opener. So ZEMFIRA, you can see the colour of the juice, perfect for autumn. Great performance, superb quality in the fragrances, and I will put a link, since they did kindly send me this, to the Bortnikoff website. So worth sampling, or if you really are taken with one, getting a full bottle of one of these. And ZEMFIRA, superb, I think, for the autumn time. I'm also a huge fan of amber cologne and musk cologne, and I quite like Sir Winston, a nice tobacco one, but I think ZEMFIRA my favourite at the moment. Moving on then, it's time for something in a very different price realm. I do love my cheapies, and Bogart Pour Homme is a perennial favourite if you're a fan of the channel, both of you out there. Bogart Pour Homme has been in so many autumn lists, and of course it's in this one as well. Lovely, lovely mixture of lavender, tobacco, tonka, cherry. Cherry's not listed as a note, but a lot of people describe this as having a cherry tobacco aura, and I agree. It's a bit like a mix of Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler and Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Mal. Put it that way. Bit of a barbershop feel too, maybe. Beautiful, rich, wonderful performance. About £15 for a 100ml bottle. Bogart Pour Homme, total classic. Still enjoy it as much as anything in the list, almost. And a great fragrance. Moving on then, I think that was classed as number 5. Here's one that, again, I don't think you've seen me mention on the channel before, and this is Ombre Eccentrico by Armani from the Armani PRIVE line. And I wore it last night. I've actually, believe it or not, I have washed this morning, but it is still there on my hand, and so therefore it has really good performance. Some of the notes in this one include, I think this might be all of them, cinnamon, we've got tonka, patchouli, dried fruits and plum, and I get a kind of undertone of a sort of coffee, even maybe a coffee and chocolate thing underneath. A really balmy, resinous, milky, semi-gourmandish, unctuous, Moorish fragrance with nice performance, a really good and unique and distinctive bottle design, and the kind of thing I need to get into more, these sort of in the sweet gourmand territory. I'm getting to like that more, and looking forward to wearing some this autumn. This one very, very well balanced, really rich, and it's really opened my eyes to this line of fragrances. This is the first one that I actually own. I got this from a gentleman called John Savvas on Facebook. I will link him as well. He is a great guy to go to if you're interested in picking up anything from the Armani PRIVE line. Great deals on those. And yes, I'll link him down there, his Facebook page. If you message him there, he may be able to help you get some of these. Really interesting line, so let me know if you've tried those. But I think this one perfect for autumn. Really good juice indeed. Moving on then, that was number 4. We have now number 3. And this is going to be another niche one. It's BOJNOKOPF from FORTE and MANLE. Stunning, stunning juice, this one. So it used to be called Mr. BOJNOKOFF's Purple Hat. They probably thought that was a bit of a mouthful. So it's now called BOJNOKOPF. Forte and Manle, the house of RASASI Forte, great perfumer from down under in Australia. This one, lavender and dark chocolate would be the simplified way to describe it. So let's just call it lavender with dark chocolate, a grown-up, masculine, sort of dark gourmand fragrance. Wonderful stuff. There's also a healthy little dose of oud in there, and it's got this wonderful dark, rich, woody quality, a little bit of sweetness, but it's very much that dark chocolate feel rather than your Cadbury's milk bar, and therefore a sophisticated semi-gourmand woody fragrance that is really, really enchanting and beautiful. Just a little bit of funk in there as well. Fantastic bottle design, great performance again, and yeah, BOJNOKOPF from Forte and Manle. I think still my favourite from that fragrance house. So we're nearly at the end of the list. Ah yes, okay, good, because we've had a lot of expensive ones in this list. This one is not. It's DAAREJ from RASASI. I'm a big fan of this fragrance, as you may know. Just want to show you the colour, so I'll put it against my white shirt. Lovely colour on that juice. Doubt that that's from the natural ingredients, probably from a dye, but I like it anyway. Nice bottle design, and it's often compared to Valentino V by Versace. No, just kidding. Valentino, which is discontinued, hard to find. Cardamom, artemisia, cumin, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, tonka bean. It's fruity, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's rich, it's kind of fun. There's a bit of something sophisticated or exotic in there, and it lasts ages on the skin. It's really, really beautiful. Lovely for the autumn time and winter. DAAREJ from RASASI, great bargain worldwide. Always, you know, you can find it on the various discount sites, Notino in the UK, wherever you want to get it from. Excellent, excellent fragrance for the price. Still loving DAAREJ. That brings me to number one. So at number one in the list, but the list's in no particular order, so it just happens to be the last one I'm mentioning. It's NAXOS from the house of XERJOFF. This is actually Claire's bottle from the Smurfy Girly channel. I've ordered my own full bottle of the new packaging. Apparently the new design packaging is fine, and I also have a decant, which is why I hadn't until now got round to buying a full bottle. What an amazing fragrance this is. Bergamot, lavender, lemon, freshness in the top. Cinnamon, honey and tobacco, cashmere and vanilla underneath that. It's the best tobacco fragrance I've ever smelled. A mixture of honey, lavender and tobacco. Rich, unctuous, and yet has this light airiness in there. One of the highest quality fragrances, or just the most enjoyable and beautiful fragrances for colder seasons I've ever smelled. Fantastic performance, utterly a masterpiece fragrance. Love the old bottle design, but the new one's pretty neat too. Superb juice, NAXOS from XERJOFF, you cannot beat it. And I just realised there's one I totally wanted to put in the list. It has to be in, so we'll call it a top 11. And this is Spice and Wood by Creed, absolute masterpiece. Including notes of bergamot, apple, dessert peppers, I don't really know what they are, clove, cedar, birch, iris musk, maybe cinnamon, I think it's not listed as a note. Wonderful spicy woody fragrance, as the name suggests. Great longevity and performance. One of the classiest fragrances from Creed, and of course that slight sweetness and spiciness, the beautiful woody elements in this one from the birchwood make it absolutely perfect for the season of autumn. If you can't afford it, and it's horrendously expensive, I must say, Alexandria Fragrance's Arabian Forest is a dead ringer for a fraction of the price, and I absolutely love that fragrance too, and often wear it in place of this. But Spice and Wood and or Arabian Forest, the joint number one, let's call it. Head on over to the Patreon group if you want to sign up, because I'm going to carry on right now and do the rest of the list with some honourable mentions. But I think I've given you plenty to be getting on with here, of course, but I'll hope to see you over there. If not, see you in the next video on YouTube. Look out for the Kickstarter campaign for GRAVITAS Pour Homme. We've got the bottle design, and the label is pretty much designed too. And I will see you next time. Remember guys, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye bye.